I want to give you a few attitudes this morning of barrier breakers and what it takes to be a barrier breaker. Barrier breaker number one, barrier breakers are less sensitive to disappointment and rejection. I know people still sensitive to disappointment and still haven't recovered from not pleasing maybe your father growing up. They stay disappointed for years and they have never recovered yet. And a lot of preparation in life of what God is trying to do in you is to help you for that moment more than anything else. Jesus said in this life, you are going to have tribulation. So what I'm saying is get a realistic expectation. You're going to have pain, you're going to have sorrow, you're going to have setback and obstacles, but they won't stop the dream, he goes on to say. They will stand like a barrier trying to intimidate you to quit and get you to give up. But look, God doesn't start anything in your life in order for you to fail. But you will have disappointments, but barrier breakers always have a short memory of failure, and they get up and they try again. If you want to be a barrier breaker, you don't have time to languish in long periods of time of regret over failure. What barrier breakers do is they go up against the wall, they can't knock it down. And instead of sitting down, they're discouraged that they have experienced disappointments in their life. They go back and find a way to exert more force so that the next time they hit that wall, it will come down. Barrier breaker number two. Barrier breakers always think about the bottom line. Barrier breakers don't want too much detail. They want to know what the barrier is and what they need to do to break the barrier. They become irritable and impatient with people always telling them that a barrier can't be broken because they're always thinking about the bottom line. They understand the Pareto principle that's in business, that there are only a few things that have a whole lot of effect on the big thing. For example, 20% of something affects 80% of it. And they only want to know what those things are. For example, in the Pareto principle, it goes something like this. 20% of our time produces 80% of the results. That is, a divided focus in life always works against you. But a vision gives you focus. What's your dream for the new year? Well, Pastor, I just want to be a better person. That's not a vision. That's a wish. Well, I need to lose some weight. Well, how much weight? A half pound or 50 pounds? Let's focus on the task at hand. Barrier breakers are people of conviction. Belief is in two categories, preferences and convictions. If what you claim to believe is changeable in your mind, it's a preference, not a conviction. But if you apply pressure to a conviction, the conviction only gets stronger. Barrier breaker number 5. Barrier breakers refuse to equate failures with self-worth. It's amazing how many people immediately associate failure with self-worth. Confidence ruined, self-worth ruined, because they tried to break a barrier and they failed. Now they don't come back because they feel unworthy to try again. Never equate your failures with self-worth. The secret to success is your reaction time to when you're staying down. The quicker you get up from the defeat, the quicker you're going to move on to great success in your life. If you want to make history or do something that has never been done before, then pick yourself up, dust yourself as quickly as you can, or you're going to be crushed by the next wave of failure that's going to come your way. You're trying to do something that you haven't done in a while. Keep going. Keep attempting. Keep trying. Keep submitting yourself to accountability and to the program. You're not a failure. You're a barrier breaker. And sometimes barrier breakers need a little time to crack that wall. But in Jesus' name, you are going to crack that wall and you're going to do it. You're not a failure because your dream isn't a reality yet. You're a barrier breaker. You're trying to do something that hasn't been done. God is wanting to break barriers in your dream. God is wanting to break barriers in your mind. God is wanting to break barriers in your marriage. He's wanting to break barriers in your thinking and your mentality, in the way that you see life. God is a barrier-breaking, destroying God. And God hasn't called us as believers to survive. He's called us to do the impossible. He's called us to make history. And I want to tell you this morning that God can give you barrier-breaking power this morning. You just have to see beyond your failure and see the pursuit of the vision of breaking that barrier.